So I'm very happy to welcome Mrs. Sridevi Ganesh. Most of us in Chennai, we know her well. She's a very dear friend of ours from our own community. So she's a co-founder. I'm just introducing her, quick introduction. A co-founder of Chamomile Investment Consultants. It's a firm based out of Chennai, along with her husband, Mr. Ganesh.
Shobha, sorry, Drisha. Kindly put everybody in mute. Please put everybody in mute. No disturbance.
Can please yourself, if you can put you on mute, please help. She holds a diploma in management and certified CFP. She's a CFP with a fantastic academic record. She's an engineering graduate. I think even Mr. Ganesh is an engineering graduate because of their passion for numbers and maybe money management also. They have taken this as their career. So her passion towards numbers have made her adapt to drafting financial plans with the precision displayed by an engineer. Her clients have cherished the experience of interacting with her and appreciate the holistic way in which she comes up with solutions. She regularly conducts financial planning awareness workshops, various companies, educational institutions. She's been into this career since 2007. And this financial planning is a core area of work and interest. So her clients include of different geographical locations across the globe, NRI, everyone. She's an avid reader. She contributes regularly articles. Most of you have read in Money Control, Business Line, Economic Times, etc. And she also her hobbies are solving Sudoku puzzles. And she's an active member of Financial Planners Guild of India. Spreads awareness about financial planning. That's about all about Sridevi. So over to you, Sridevi.
Thanks,
Welcome to our IFA Galaxy's webinar today, and we are looking forward to hear very interesting and informative tips for retirement planning. Thank you. Over to you.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Shobana, for the nice introduction, and thanks a lot to IFA Galaxy for giving me this opportunity to present my views on retirement planning. There are many advisors here with more experience than me, so this is not an education session. I'm just giving my experience. I started my financial planning career in 2008, and I was looking to focus on a particular area where I can specialize. In 2015 or so, I figured it out. Retirement planning is very close to my heart, and I can passionately work on retirement planning. So I'm focused more into retirement planning. So I'm going to share my experience over the years and how I approach retirement planning. Right. So when we started with the retirement planning as a focused area, we were receiving different types of queries. Typically, these are the queries I can put into. The first one could be around, I want to plan for my retirement corpus, how to do it. And this is a very common query which all we receive. And the second one is the person who already retired and have some corpus and is mentally into retirement, right? So he'll come and say that how can I fund my expenses? This is a corpus I have. So we'll be giving a solution on how to derive income from the corpus. But there are different questions we face from a set of clients, especially from top executives in IT firms and very recently auto and auto ancillary companies. They come and say that I'm so stressed. When can I retire? Right? So, they are not able to face their younger boss, or they are not able to upgrade their skills. There are multiple reasons. Then we get a question that next to us, at least in the stress, when can I retire? We have some time frame to prepare the client financially and emotionally to retirement. But there are some clients who will come and ask in a very stressed manner, can I retire now? This is the purpose I have, this is my finances, you tell me whether I can retire. It may be because they may feel at a point that they are missing their family life, or they may feel at a point that they want to get into some kind of Vedic life, or getting into something, or they want to start some business, some positive or negative, both the sides. We get this kind of a question: can I retire now? And the last one is the worst one. They'll decide. It's not like they are asking our help to make the decision. It is almost they have decided. They'll come and say that done with all. This is my corpus. So how much retirement need to afford? Right. So this is it is a very stressed situation, and we need to understand why these kind of questions are coming from the client. Then we'll be approaching how to plan for their retirement. So I'm going to show a bit of maths as well. The first part is the first question of planning for retirement purpose. For me, it is the most simplest among all, but people generally make some kind of mistakes. So I want to point out that, but other than that, it will be a simple present value, future value calculation, which everybody knows. And it is better to opt for comprehensive planning, because otherwise the retirement corpus will get diverted to other nodes. These are all very common. So I'm here going to show you a calculation where someone who's at the age of 40 is coming and planning for his retirement, where we have around 20 years time frame to plan for his retirement. So this sheet shows that what kind of retirement age and how many years to retire, and what is the life expectancy, and we'll be considering the spouse current age and what is her life expectancy, and what is the monthly expense, and then we arrive at the retirement cost. This is not main focus here. What we need to focus is what are all the variables. The retirement age as a variable. So sometimes we plan for the age of retirement 60, but they may be advancing at 255, or they may be advancing, they may be delaying it till 62 or 65. And life expectancy. Generally, when you look at the documents and other things, people be saying that 73 is the average life expectancy, but that is the average is a number which is not giving you any value at all. So if you are coming, if you are talking to your client who is coming from Haryana, convincing him to work with a life expectancy of 85 is very, very tough. But if you look at the urban population and the upper middle class life expectancy, it is more than 80, more than 85. So you cannot make a mistake of putting 70 or 75 as the life expectancy. And coming to the Southern Peninsula, you go and check with your friends or relatives. Many in Kerala or the Southern Peninsula are living up to the age of 100 or above. So if you are working at a client who's from Kerala, then you need to adjust the life expectancy to 100, and you need to interact with the client more to understand who's the aged client, who's the aged person in their family, and we arrive at the life expectancy. And there are cases where the husband is from Haryana and the wife is from Kerala. So I'll be focusing on what kind of life expectancy we need to work on. And it is very difficult to say to the wife that you will be living till 100, I'm going to work for you with a life expectancy of 100, but I'll be putting 85 as the life expectancy for your husband. She will not agree for it. So we need to talk to them to arrive at a common point to work at the life expectancy. Similarly, monthly expenses. Most of the IT people will come and say that I want to plan for 1 lakh as my retirement. It's not possible. So if you work at the inflation, if you put the numbers on paper, they'll really understand that it is very difficult to plan for a 1 lakh retirement expenses. So what I do normally is I collect the expenses, I divide it into the normal living expenses and what will be the retirement expenses. Generally, the rent will not be there post-retirement, school expenses will not be there, and kids-related expenses will not be there, and office-related expenses will not be there post-retirement. So they deduct all those things, arrive at arrive at the right number for planning your retirement expenses. Then we put that number in the calculation, and they'll be able to achieve the corpus relatively easy. So we'll be dividing all the expenses into different baskets. What are your current living expenses? What are all the expenses we will be considering for your retirement? So that we will be taking it. And when it comes to the next point, inflation, RBI is comfortable with 4% plus or minus 2%. And when you run on the expense sheet for the client, then you will understand what kind of inflation they are into. So generally, it is 5% for the inflation. So people will be adjusting their purchases here and there to make the same level of expenses in some heads. So we need to divide each and every expenses in different heads, and I'll be advising clients to put the right number. I ask them to write the expenses every year. That's the one thing I stress upon my client. Whenever they come for the review, they need to bring down their expenses for the past year and what is the kind of projected expenses they are going to make for the next 1 year. So if we know these expenses, we can simply understand their lifestyle. If they move from normal groceries to organic products, then it increases their lifestyle. And sometimes they might be spending less on the EV, and after some time they'll be spending more on the EV, because you talk to them, they'll be putting more AC in their home, they'll be running the AC most often. So they are increasing their lifestyle. That has to be factored in the retirement tax expenses as well. Then we'll be talking about how to arrive at the corpus. As I said, this is the simplest case where we'll have time to adjust for the client to understand what are all their expenses, what are all their lifestyle, and what are all the investments we can map, and sometimes they may be losing jobs. So everything is there in the journey of 20 years. So we'll be able to adjust the retirement plan every year during the review. So I generally profile the client for their risk, and I'll be considering their assets. What are all the assets they consider retirement accumulation? Sometimes people will be missing PF superannuation in their retirement calculation. So I'll be taking into account those assets. Then time to retire, this is a variable. And earnings post retirement, this is one area we face problem in many of the cases. They assume that it is easy to get a professor job once you have 15 years of work experience in the corporates. It's not very easy. So I don't want to consider the earnings post retirement, that is after the age of 60. Those are all optional. You may get it or you may not get it. So I'll be educating the client. This will not be continuing forever. So we should not consider these things in the retirement calculation. Similarly, rental income, and also I don't favor it to adjust in the retirement calculation. That is the worst case scenario. You can depend on that. And during this course, we need to have a plan.
There is just one request from Mr. PSN. The previous slide he needs us to see, the previous one, just for.
Yeah, I will go back to that.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. So we should have plan to move from one asset class to other class when you are nearing your retirement. So, and we will be regularly reviewing the expenses and lifestyle and investments to adjust for the retirement corpus. Here, see, this is the calculation, and we have discussed about what are all the variables. Now we know that this 40,000 expense, current monthly expenses, will be at 1,54,000 when we retire. Right? So to get this 1,54,000 in the beginning of this retirement, till the life expectancy of his spouse, they need to arrive at a corpus, right? And just because he is retiring, the inflation is not going to stop. So we need to adjust for the inflation post retirement. So putting all these things together, we are getting a corpus of 5.43 crore. So this person, let's say Mr. X, he needs to arrive at a corpus of 5.43 crore to retire at his age of 60. This is in the beginning. So every year we need to focus on what is his current monthly expenses and adjust for their retirement, and we need to focus on the inflation as well and the risk-free return. Everything we need to adjust and do the review. So when we calculate this corpus, so how to arrive at the corpus? So when you say it is 5.43 crore to a client, most of them will panic. How can I reach this kind of a corpus? That number itself is not getting into my mind, right? So this is the feedback I normally receive. But when we figure it out how to arrive at the corpus, then it is easy for the client to commit his investments like PF. It is there will be a corpus, And superannuation, most of the people miss out, but they have in the company benefits, and they might be saving in the PPF. These are all the investments which are longer term in nature. So it will also induce a discipline saving. So I factor all these things into retirement. Then there is a regular contribution in PF and other products that also I arrive at it. Then I'll be calculating what kind of accumulation they can expect from each and every product based on the expected return. So once you figure it out, then it is automatically he is creating a corpus of around 2 crores. So we need to give a plan to accumulate the balance corpus, right? So if you want to accumulate 3.5 crores, so how to arrive at that? So I'm allocating 70 to 30%, 70% in equity and 30% for the client. Some clients may be aggressive; they can put the balance entire 100% into equity to uh, get the balance corpus. So it depends on the individual. So arrive at an expected return for the client. So everything is based on the client's risk profile. So in addition to your PF, superannuation and PPF contribution and the current value, the client was advised to invest 50,000 per month towards his retirement. Sometimes the client may not be able to afford this right from the beginning, but slowly he'll be increasing the corpus, so that more delay it gets into, the more amount he needs to add. So this is the basic calculation which we all are familiar with. This is not the main focus point for me, and this is not the area I want to focus. Mainly because this is overly crowded, whether it is in terms of clients or in terms of advisors. There are many clients you can find out, they want to build their retirement corpus. There is no doubt about that. There are many people who want to plan for their retirement, but there are many advisors too, right? So in this working on this area, there are many investment advisors, financial planners, there are many mutual fund distributors, there are many deposit mobilizers and the wealth management firms and bankers. Everyone wants to focus on this area. So it is overly crowded in terms of client. Yes, it is there, but in terms of advisory, it is overly crowded. I am not focusing mostly in this area. Where I focus is on the other four parts. And when it comes to the second case, so someone who's mentally ready for retirement, this is the area where enough advisory services are not available. So this is the area I focus on, of course. And people who have money, they want certainty of income, right? So right from the day one, they want certain income, certainty of their retirement income. So we need to focus on putting stable investments in their baskets, and we need to arrive at how to derive retirement income from each and every investment, as on monthly basis or quarterly basis, depends on the instrument. Depends on their client's risk profile, we can add other products as well, nothing wrong. And someone retiring below the age of 60, we need to manage the portfolio till 60. Then we need to figure out to move these investments to some safer investment. What I learned in my experience over the last 5 years as a retirement planner, they need a certainty in their income. They don't want to get disturbed by the market fluctuations or something. That so we need to put different baskets. So I'm going to explain you how to put the different baskets at a later point to get the retirement income. So that will be at the end. So we'll be discussing that as well. And in case of retirement, the next 3 points are more important. This is where I put my focus on. Here it is like people will be coming and asking you, I'm stressed, when can I retire? So as I explained, this is mainly from IT companies, top level executives, even at the age of 40 or 43 or 45, they want to retire. I can understand the stress in their work, but we cannot say yes immediately, right? So we need to figure out the financial parts. Non-financial part, only one thing I mostly focus on is what they are going to do post retirement. So if they retire after 40, or 45, even if they have the corpus, what they are going to do? It is very, very important to understand this question. And it is very, very important to understand what they are going to do after 45. Otherwise, the retirement corpus will be burnt overnight. So I don't say yes without understanding their ideas about getting into some other profession, or how they are going to keep themselves engaged. I've told many clients you can retire, but after understanding this situation. And some people will be more stressed, and mostly NRIs. They want to come back home. They want to come and stay with their near and one. So mostly the question is, most of the discussions will be focused on, can I retire now? When can I retire? When can I come back? That's fine. But if you come back by 50 or 55, you may have enough corpus. But 55 to 60, you're not mentally ready for retirement. And this puts more stress on the retirement corpus as well. So you need to allocate some money to spend, or you will be allocating some money to start some business, or to keep yourself engaged away from the family, so that you'll be focusing on some other work, so that your life will be smoother. And the third one is the worst of all. I have faced this question many times. After deciding, they come and ask how much retirement income I can afford. This is a worst situation to be in. Some people, they have lost their job at the age of 55 or 56. And I have seen a case where the person was at 62, and he has spent all the money he earned in his entire life to educate his son in US. He was working in Dubai, and he put his son in US to study cinematography, and he has not got any chances in Hollywood. And now all entire family, husband, wife, and son, all are sitting in Chennai, and the persons, my client, is still continuing his job. He's no other go. He's continuing. He needs to continue his job to 75. That's what I told him. There is no other go, because he has a loan part as well. Either he has to get the support from his son, or he needs to continue working till who knows, God knows. Um, so these are all the situations we analyze and tell the client what they need to do, what they need to focus on. And when we say yes, it is a very tough yes. It's to say yes, because when I say yes, they take it for granted that their retirement life will be smoother. So we know that the financial investments can't give a smooth ride, but explaining this to the client post retirement will be very, very difficult. So we need to understand their behavior, and it can't be done over one meeting or two meetings. So it is, at least I'll be tracking their expenses for 3 years, which gives me the comfort to understand their lifestyle. And the lifestyle, it is the biggest headache. That's a one thing I worry too much for many people. This family I was referring to, she was buying Aquafina water bottles, and for every month, it's 20-liter bottles. That was a huge expenses. And I told her, this is not possible to run family expenses like that. So we need to understand where they spend, how to reduce the expenses. Sometimes it's possible, you need to tell politely, but sometimes it's not possible. And suppose someone wants to retire before the age of 60, and there are a lot of challenges. They'll be having same friends who are yearning. So they'll be comparing their friends' lifestyle with them. And at some point, they should not come back and tell you that you only told me that I can retire. I could have yearned for 3-4 years again, right? So you should be very careful while saying yes to your client. So these are all the challenges we need to focus on. I'll be explaining all these points to the clients, where they focus, how, what kind of group they will be involving post retirement. And I advise them, they'll be spending longer years in retirement. This is very, very important, because neither the client nor the advisor have any real time experience in retirement, right? So it is a journey, it is a progress. So it's a journey in progress. So we need to tell clients, even I don't know what is going to happen after 30 years. You just imagine, in 1990 we didn't have any mobile, right? So if you look at the past 30 years, we can pick lot of inputs. In 2000 we were not aware that we'll be spending, we'll be fixing AC in each and every room and running 24 hours. I never imagined. And similarly, this RO water charges. And last year in May, most of the Chennais must be remembering we spent a lot on buying water, right? So these are all the things we cannot control, and these are all the changing requirements. And the home security. This we have not imagined anywhere, but this will be coming up in future years as well. So the client needs to be prepared for it. So I'll be telling all these things in like a story. These are all the changes we have observed in the last 30 years. And when I plan for your retirement for the next 30 years, there are a lot many unknowns which I don't know and you don't know. So we are going to approach those retirement planning together, and we are going to draft a plan, and we are going to put some checks and how to say, you can say this again, the nuts and bolts, right? So these are all the points we need to focus on, and these are all the things we can control. We cannot control some things which is not in our control, but what we can control is the one is the expenses and the other one is the corpus. And earlier they were not I used to say that was a blunder. I used to say that in retirement you'll be having more time, you'll be going out, you'll be spending more on Sundays, you'll be going out, but post retirement all 7 days or Sundays, so you'll be spending more. Now you need not go out of home, you will be spending from home. There are many food delivery apps. So there are Uber, Ola, what else? There are many apps we are spending for it, right? We are spending through it, sitting at home. And people are spending really well for health, either for gym or yoga. That has to be accounted in their lifestyle. And there are travel needs. They cannot sit at home and talking to both husband and wife talking to each other for the entire day and for the entire year. It's very, very difficult. We all had the practical experience during this lockdown, right? And there are family get-togethers. This is one point which will be disturbing their lifestyle over a period. See, once they retire, they want to meet their near and dear ones. They want to give them. You should not be too emotional to give away the money, because they have a huge retirement corpus, somewhere 2 crore, 3 crore, right? So they want to show it off. So we need to put everything in a different basket. Anna, you have only this much in your retirement kitty, and this is the only amount you have to spend for your gifts. So you can only put this kind of an amount for gifting. So I'll be telling them I put everything in a basket so that it will be easier for them to spend. And socializing, it is the worst and worst thing. It gives it bring ideas to multiply wealth, right? So one day someone will call and tell me, Sridevi, I met Mama when I was going for a walking, and he was telling me I want to buy there is a wonderful apartment coming up for sale in Nangalulu. Can you buy? Anyhow, I have the corpus, right? So I can put this on rent. I'll be deriving the line. So we need to tell them that no, this is, you don't have corpus for that, and what are all the pros and cons of having the rental income. What if after 75 you're not able to manage your tenants, what you're going to do, whether you have any plan for it. So it will be a detailed discussion before getting into the actions, right? So these are all the points I generally discuss with all my clients. And why I track the inflation, because track their own inflation, because most of the time the inflation is not based on the expenses head. If carrot is costly, they'll be buying beans, right? So if beans is costly, they buy potato. So they manage the expenses. If they spend more on travel, their groceries expenses are coming down. So that is not the one thing we need to worry about. It will be moving over a period of time at 4 to 5%, that I have observed with many families. So I can confidently say that it is going up at 4 or 5%. That is fine, but they should be very stringent in increasing their lifestyle. There should be some common sense with the client why they are increasing their lifestyle, or else they need to reduce somewhere. We cannot change the retirement plan after some 10 years of getting into retirement, right? So this we need to go educated to the client. even if you plan thoroughly accounting for most of the unknowns and most of the inflations and expenses, there could be many things which go wrong, right? So expect the unexpected. Inflation, we are assuming it is 45%, but in some years, not every year, it may go up to 7% or 8%. Okay, accordingly, your return will also go up in that particular year. But what about the investments which you put long time back, which is giving you less than inflation? So, and there are life expectancy issues. So just because I had put the plan with the life expectancy of 90, I can't ask the client to die exactly at the age of 90, right? So similarly for spouse life expectancy, so that is very, very difficult. So we need to have some kind of a risk management system where these kind of unexpected events can be captured. When till May or till April, I was not in a position to explain what is that unexpected and unplanned contingency. I used to say that there are so many things which we don't know what is going to happen in future, but at least now I can proudly say that there is a pandemic, so we don't know what is going to happen. So this kind of thing can happen in anyone's life. But next year onwards, pandemic will be unexpected contingency. There could be something else, right? So we need to plan always for unexpected and unplanned contingency. To provide all these assumptions, especially the variations in the assumptions, we need to have a surplus assets over and above your retirement corpus. It's not about the corpus you are building. You need to have a surplus assets to support you if there is a mismatch in the inflation or expected return and the life expectancy, or there are any unexpected or unplanned contingencies. So in the retirement planning, so we need to consider what is the risk profile of the client and what are the assets they are considering. These are the points we discussed. I put in the previous slide itself, the top 4 points. Then if generally I go for a basket strategy, this gives clear demarcation of funds, and it avoids unnecessary risk in the portfolio. They have a very clear plan how much they need for the first 3 years and next 5 years. I put 5 years as a basket, so it is easy for the client also to understand, because most of the retirement products have 5 year, 7 year kind of lock-in, so it is easy for them to understand this kind of a basket strategy. And they should also be explained how to move from one asset class to other asset class when they are changing the buckets, and if there is a change in the interest rate, how to adjust that in the retirement, and whether we accept it or not, whether I accept it or not, customers prefer automatic withdrawal, which will be making their life easier. So that is where the senior citizen savings bond, RBI bond, annuity, those things come into picture. When I say that you don't depend on the rental income because you cannot manage a tenant post your age of 75, the next question you will ask me, so you may be younger than me, but you will also kick your bucket one day. So how will I run my expenses? So you give me a detailed plan so that I don't depend on you as well to run my retirement. That's a very valid question. I agree for that, right? And I also put some other funds called health, vacation, and property maintenance in different baskets. And tax planning is an integral part of the retirement plan. One thing is certain, so we need to, I generally say, tell all my clients, death and taxes are certain, so we cannot avoid it. So what you can do is you can put a plan to get a tax efficient returns, but you cannot avoid tax, right? And it is for the client and for the advisor to understand that nothing wrong in not having equity exposure if the client is conservative. It should be planned in such a way that, that's my experience, right? So it should be planned in such a way that they are comfortable with their retirement life, because we don't know what is going to happen post retirement. And we can add retirement, we can add equity in retirement health fund or post retirement vacation or property maintenance fund or in surplus asset, but not in the main retirement purpose post retirement, that most of the clients don't prefer at all. And I was talking about different funds, so like let me explain that. See, in the case of retirement planning, it is not a simple plan. It is a very, very complex work. You're planning for 30 years with a lot of unknowns. So the retirement cash flow fund will cover the retirement income, that is either it can be monthly or quarterly, and it will cover 1 year expenses at any point of time, right? And the second one is the retirement health fund. Generally, if someone gets into a lifestyle disease or lifestyle illness, something like a BP or diabetes or arthritis, they'll be spending regularly for the prescription. No one will reimburse prescription costs, right? So we need to have a separate fund for it. It is very, very comfortable to keep a separate retirement health fund and draw from it if at all we are not able to manage from the normal retirement cash flow fund. And at sometimes even for 15 days or 20 days or sometimes for 6 months, people get into some kind of sickness and they need home care. So who will pay for that home care? Generally, I advise people to have a separate retirement health fund to handle all these contingencies. These are all the known contingencies, so I can address these. And third one is the sorry, post-retirement vacation fund. It can be called like hobbies fund or give any name. But this is the amount they need to spend time after retirement, right? So you can't sit at home 24 hours with your wife, or much you love her. You need a separate space. You need to get out of home to uh, avoid some ripples, right? So we all have experience in the last 1 month. We know it is very, very tough to stay uh, for 24 hours with a person. Sometimes we get bored and we get angry. So these are all very common post retirement, at least in initial years. After that, they all come to a normalcy. So we are going to stay at home, and after some time they are not able to move. So they are not, they are very less mobile. So I plan retirement vacation till the age of 70 or 75, depends on the health of the client and what kind of lifestyle they have. It may be 1 lakh per year or 2 lakh or 3 lakh. If their kids are outside, then we put some amount extra. So this depends on that. We arrive at a corpus. So how much they are going to spend for the next 15 years or 20 years. And just like us, the property will also get aged. So you need to give some cushion to maintain your property. So it is, if someone is coming to me at the early age and for a long-term financial planning and long-term retirement planning, I can advise him they need to change their house when nearing their retirement, or they can buy the house at the time of retirement, or they can plan for retirement home. But if so that the property maintenance expenses will not be too high. But if someone is living in the old house for longer years and they are deciding to continue to live in the house, then I generally put a corpus for decent corpus for property maintenance fund. This will come up based on the conversation with the client. This is one area where people are very comfortable put money in, because they know the prices may go up. They also need some provision when once they get aged, right? So these are all the points when you discuss. It adds credibility to the plan. And similarly, the next one is the gift to others. It is some sort of social insurance. It is like keeping your son-in-law, daughter-in-law happy, so that it's nothing but you help me today and I'll help you today. You take care of me today and I take care of you tomorrow. We all live in a society and we need help from people. So it is better if we put some kind of fun for this kind of activities. And I should appreciate some people who are putting charity as well post retirement. So this charity corpus can be separate, and there is, if they can afford, they can create a retirement health corpus, or a health insurance is initially sufficient, but over the years, from the surplus available every year, they need to increase their retirement corpus. What I observe from the health insurance companies, beyond the age, even if the policy can be renewed, till the age of 90 or 100, they keep on increasing the premium and people are not comfortable. So it is always better to create a retirement health corpus. And coming back to the surplus assets, so to plan for the unexpected and unplanned contingencies, how much surplus asset one should have. I'm going to give you an example here. So this is almost a real case. I have modified some numbers here and there for this presentation. So someone who is planned for the age of 60, he worked at a retirement corpus of 1.95 crore. He is retiring immediately, and his monthly expenses we figured at 60,000 per month. So it is starting from 2020, it is 60,000, and 1.95 crore is a corpus he already has. So what should be his surplus assets? Suppose here, if you look at it, this is an inflation at 5%. I am working at an expected return of 6.5%. This is adjusting for tax and some other factors as well. So I am working at a 6.5% expected return. So I'm expecting somewhere around 1.43% additional return over and above the inflation. So if the client is getting only 5% expected return in some years, it may be like inflation maybe at 7%, he is able to generate 7%. Some years inflation is at 3%, he'll be able to generate only 3% return. Some years inflation at 10%, he is generating 10% return. So this is not constant, right? So if the inflation and the expected return both are same, there should be a number just like this 1.95 crore. So I just check that number, it is constant, whether it is 4% or 10%. If the inflation and the expected return are same, you arrive at a corpus. So it is, in this case, it is 2.4 crore. So 2.4 crore minus 1.9 crore, approximately I ask the client to put 50 lakh in surplus asset. It can be in any type of assets. But it should be again diversified assets with liquidity options. The client had a small land outside Chennai, so we mapped that land to the surplus asset. So he'll be liquidating not immediately, over after some time. So when he finds that it is the right time to liquidate that asset, so he can liquidate. So we are putting something in the surplus assets, but he is not dependent on the surplus assets immediately for his lifestyle needs. So coming back to this question, so this 1.95 crore is available. So how I'm going to derive income from that? So whether it was someone who is settled in retirement and asking me whether how can I draw my income from the retirement corpus, or for someone I'm working to build the corpus, the concept is same. I'm putting this 1.95 crore in different baskets. Apart from that, clients will be having retirement health fund, property maintenance, and other funds as well. But this is purely the retirement corpus. I'm going to show you how I'm working. So I'm putting this in different baskets. So I'm adding this into different years. We are planning for 34 years of withdrawal. So since the client is aged 60, and there are some other options for him as well. At least for him, we can choose senior citizen savings scheme and Prime Minister Vaya Vandana Yojana, and there are RBI taxable bond. So we figured it out. We can put somewhere around 60 lakhs into that, and you'll be able to get 4.62 lakh out of that every year. So this is an assumption that he'll be getting this 4.62 lakhs every year for the 34 years, but it is not going to be constant. Interest rate will change, so this has to be monitored. And the first year, if you look at it, the expense of 7.2 lakh, he is going to get the 4.6 lakh. So I'm putting different baskets. For the first 3 years, I'm taking out the money. Whatever is the expected expenses, I'm giving it to him, keeping it in his SB account. So put it into different FD so that he'll be able to draw from his account. The next years are divided into different blocks. That is, I prefer block of 5 years. So I'm dividing it into 4 baskets. The first basket is having a 3-year corpus with him that is available in his SB account. The second basket, this green color, is covering the years 4 to 8. So it is a 5-year corpus. The next basket 2 is covering the next 5 years. But the fourth basket is covering 3 blocks of 5 years. And the fifth basket is covering the rest of the 5 years. This is how I put, and it can be changed, depends on the client, depends on the advisor. And if they want to add some other expected income or expected rental income, they can add. This is a very flexible tool. So I generally put that. Then will be divided. We need to know when we need the money. So this is the 5 years corpus. This 22 lakh will be growing, and this you have some corpus which will give you 22.95 lakh in the beginning of the year 4 years, and this 22.95 lakhs will be moved to the client's SB account. From there, he will be putting FD and drawing the money for the next 5 years. So these are all the different baskets I put. So here it is very clear. So it is senior citizen, Prime Minister Vayamandana Yojana, or some other similar products. 60 lakh is reserved, so they are going to get an income of 4.62 lakhs from those projects. It is a what to say? It's a clear income for them. They'll be getting every quarter or every month in their bank account. The balance is divided into different baskets. Basket 1, I'm not considering any interest, but they'll be getting some income out of the FDs they need. And basket 2, I'm putting 7.75, and basket 3, I'm putting 7.5% because of the tax restrictions for this particular client. And in basket 4, I'm expecting some 8%. And basket 5 depends on the years. I put different return expectation. So totally he's putting 1.74 crore. So from the 1.95 crore, there's 1.74 crore is invested for his retirement. What about the balance 20? The balance 20 is his emergency fund. So luckily this person is having 2 years of expenses as his emergency fund. So when we put this kind of a corpus into different baskets, and based on the client, if you put a different return, expected return based on the products we are going to choose, we'll be able to save something for the emergency fund as well. And then how I arrive at the expected return. So we were working at 6.5%. So this is a calculation behind it for each and every product. What is the return I'm expecting? What is the amount I'm investing in the beginning? And what is the amount they are going to get at the end? And these are all the allocations. So the maximum is putting 60% of the corpus. So that is removing this 60 lakhs. After this 1.74, you'll be having 1.14, and with 16% of this 1.14 invested in equity, you'll have a happy and smooth journey of his retirement. This has to be reviewed once in 3 years or once in 5 years, and the baskets need to be filled with in the beginning of the year once in 5 years. So we need to meet the client, and to arrive at, we need to bring the funds from one basket other basket. So since everything is in safe investments, he feels more comfortable, and he doesn't mind to put some money in the basket for in equity. And this particular client is very happy to invest in equity for his property maintenance or gift to others. He doesn't mind, but he doesn't want to put some volatile investment in basket 1, 2, or 3, or in the basket 4 as well. So when the basket 4, the allocation is very less for him to, and that is into equity. So this is the continuous interaction with the client. So, and we arrived at this kind of an allocation, and this is how I work. Okay, so I think I have covered most of it. So thanks a lot. Hope I have given some inputs for you all. And if someone is happy to start retirement planning as a career, then most welcome, join with me, right? I'll be happy to help you out in figuring out how to go about it. And I'd like to share my number as well. I'm Sridevi Ganesh. My website is financialplanners.co.in, and my number 9841428055. I'll share this through Shobana, and you can go and check my website, financialplanners.co.in. Any queries, I'm happy to take.
It was a very wonderful. There have been many requests from many of them for sharing the slides. Would you be able to?
I can do it. I can even share the Excel sheet, nothing wrong.
Okay. So share
happy
it
to share.
Just
Yeah, I'll share it through you.
Google
yes. And if anyone wants some inputs as well, I can give it. You can share my number. I'm happy to take it. Don't expect me to teach Excel. That I'm not interested. But anything on the retirement planning, how to put it into different baskets, really happy to.
Now a quick 3-4 question and answers because it's already 3:50. I will share the number and the her email ID and her number through the mail. There is a request for that. It was really a wonderful session. When you put it in your profile, you said you have a passion towards numbers. Now I can understand what's the kind of passion with numbers.
Thank you.
See, the first question is, how often do you rebalance the equity portion? That's from Mr. M. Venkateshwaran, Chennai.
This is before retirement or after retirement. Generally, I divide this into 2 phases. If it is before retirement or after retirement. If it is invested in long-term portfolio for retirement, yeah. If it is retirement, we need not worry too much on the rebalancing for retirement because we already have PF, PPF mapped to the goal. So we are going with a fixed allocation, and I'll be watching on the excess. So if there is an excess on one side, that the debt or equity, and that is the point I ask them to reduce the excess. Suppose we have 50-50 allocation plan, and if it is at 60-40 or 40-60, then that is the point I ask them to rebalance it. But generally, what I do is we do the review every year, and we'll be watching out for the excess, whether it is or equity. And if they are reaching the goal in next 3 years or 5 years, we'll be moving from equity to debt over a period of 3 years. Just like your SIP, we need to the exit should also be well planned. So as far as retirement planning is concerned, I'll be exiting right from 5 years in advance, so 3 years in advance. Depends on the client, depends on the excess in equity, and depends on many other factors or market and other things. Not able to hear you, Shobana.
You're not able to hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
what Mr. Kanasamy has asked, in retirement planning, you're not placing annuity products. How aged people can manage for their retirement? I think.
Yeah, now it is, annuity I have added in that sheet as well. But for this client, he didn't prefer annuity, and moreover, in case of annuity, there is a lock-in, and generally the annuity rates are lower than RBI taxable bond. So I prefer RBI taxable bond than annuity. But most people, by the time when they come to me, they must be having some kind of annuity. We factor it. I'm not against annuity, and it is a wonderful product giving you the fixed income for them. So I like annuity. But in this particular case where I discussed the last one, this is for a particular client. So where we were not considering annuity at all. But he had super senior citizens savings scheme, RBI taxable bond, and Prime Minister Vaya Vandana. So in lieu of annuity, this kind of things.
There's one more question from Mr. R. Sayon.
Yeah,
he's asking how the corpus will be used after retirement. Reinvested or spent from corpus? What is the tax rate considered?
Yes, actually, it is advisable to draw from the corpus as well as the interest in terms of tax efficiency. Otherwise, you will be paying more on the tax part. So mathematically, it should be like some products will be locked in where you will not be able to draw corpus. But in some cases, like for the 5 block of years, I put the money in their SB account, and they make staggered FDs, like 1 year FD, 2 years FD, or 3 months FD, 6 months FD. Those interests will be taxable, and those interests are not accounted for anywhere. So those interests will be helping them to manage the taxes. We have run so many mathematical models. Those interests are more than sufficient to take care of the inflation. And this particular case, he is spending around 60,000 per year. per month. So if you calculate it, comes to 7.2 lakh. In India, with 7.2 lakh, you can man with two income baskets from husband and wife. This particular case, both of them were working, both of them were having their portfolio in separate names. So it is easy to manage. So if you have a lifestyle beyond a limit, like say more than 60,000 per month, then you will be getting into more taxes. But if your lifestyle is at a desired level, like 50,000, 60,000 kind of expenses in a month, you need not worry too much on the taxes. Taxes will be managed.
Okay.
And if death and taxes are certain, so if you are earning something, you pay tax. That will reduce your worry. And tax is the one thing client should worry, not the advisor. That just to say tax, don't push any products. That's my mantra.
Mr. A.K. Narayan had put a question. He has asked, what is the role of gold investment after retirement?
Yes, that's very nice question. Actually, gold is one asset people don't want to sell, right?
Emotional
Whether
point.
it is emergency or not, that's very emotional. So generally, people are having at the age of 60, they have at least 50. You just imagine an urban or a Chennai urban middle class family. They have somewhere around 50 to 60 sovereigns, but they don't want to sell, right? So I don't ask them to use gold as the one, but we of late I'm recommending SGB because they are getting some 2.5% interest, but it depends on the client. We'll be recommending this products, but most people, they want to gift their gold to their daughter-in-law or daughter, like, so to please them, to keep in good books. So we don't touch upon the gold, the physical gold.
Not
SGB, I add it.
okay.
The plan.
Okay. And one Geeta had asked, annuity
The last case, he doesn't have any kids, right? So they didn't plan anything in the gold part.
Okay. And before we move on to the next question, Sri Devi, there is one Mr. Prasad is requesting you to show the slide number 18. Maybe you can put that slide, and meanwhile, I'll just ask you this question. Annuity provides
I'm asking Ganesh to help me out. I'm not used to Mac. Just a minute.
yeah. One Ms. Geeta had asked a question. Annuity provides lifelong income as compared to other instruments which have fixed maturity periods and run into interest rate risk and reinvestment risk. What's your take on that?
Can you repeat the question?
It says annuity provides a lifelong income when compared to the
Yes.
other instruments which have fixed maturity periods, say 5 year or 7 year, and they
Yeah.
run into interest rate risks and reinvestment risks. So, what's
Yes.
your take on that annuity products? What is the weightage you would recommend for the annuity product? Because it has a more positive
Got
side.
it. Yes.
So, how would you
See,
recommend?
we should have different products in retirement, because retirement is the one we don't have experience, and even the client doesn't have experience how to live life in retirement. So what kind of emotions they will be having. So we should have we need to look at all secured investments, and in many cases LIC agents have sold this magic plan, and that is giving them some income. I map it to post retirement vacation fund, so it is coming that. So I don't avoid any products. I don't put I'm going to give this kind of allocation to a particular product. I'm going to give 10% to SGV, 10% to
I know.
SS senior citizen. Oh, nothing fixed. So it depends on the client. It depends on the client position. I position all the products. I like all the products. It is only about the suitability of the investment to that
There is
particular.
no one size fits all. It depends on
Yes.
person to person.
And you need to have different products in the. It's even in the same basket. You should have different products. If even if something fails, they cannot lose their dignity of living. That is very important when it comes to retirement. And post retirement, they need to get the minimum amount.
Life of dignity. That's
Yes.
the whole
Yes.
point of taking so much of pains. So
Yes.
one final question. I think it's 3:58 already. So Mr. Srinisun had asked Mr. Manikast, how do you recommend retirement plan for the unorganized sector who have no regular income? What is your strategy for such of this segment, which is huge?
Yes.
And also
I
that
asked them
continuation
to
is
get
especially the low-key business people. The question continues, the low-key business people. For them, how do you give a retirement planning?
So if it is low-key business people, something like a fruit vendor or people who are working at home, so helpers, for those people, Atal Pension Yojana, I ask everyone to invest in that. If they are less than 40 years or more than 40 years, I ask them, for them, the capital safety and getting back the money is very, very important. And LIC will be the better choice for the lower income. And most people don't focus their energy in giving solutions to these kind of people, and don't give any complex product. Give some simple solutions that will solve the problem in the longer period for you and for the client as well.
Sridevi, I would congratulate, because there are so many compliments just flowing in, and they have been request asking for a regular sessions like this. They are so happy about this session. So many of them have less of questions and more of compliments today for your session. I congratulate you for that. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, and thanks IFA Galaxy and Shobana and Babu as well for giving this opportunity for everyone joining this session, and more humble. And whatever doubt you have, whatever clarification you need, please get in touch with me through Shobana. I'm happy to help.
Yeah, I will share the slides where once Sridevi shares, I'll share the slide with the contact number and email. You can get in touch and get your doubts cleared. Thank you so much, everyone. We will join you for the next session. We are yet to plan if we are continuing on Wednesday or a weekly session. We'll definitely communicate to what is the plans, and we would love to keep in touch with you, because it's very beneficial for each and every one of us to stay disciplined and learn something. So thank you so much. Thank you.